Good morning, Agile friends and family. Rachel Peters here. Welcome to Wake Up and Stretch. Let's go ahead and come toward our mats. You're going to want to have your mat laid out horizontally so you can see what's going on your screen. And for the end of class, you may want to have a folding chair or some sort of surface that you can sit on that's about chair height for some work that we do at the end. That's going to be optional if you want to sit or stand. But right now, let's go ahead and get ourselves moving. We're going to stand on or right in front of our mats, feet shoulder width apart, with the toes pointing forward or slightly out to the sides. Let's go ahead and shift our weight forward and back just a few times. Get settled on your feet. And then we're going to center our weight right over the front of our ankle joints, soften up those knees a bit. Let's take a big breath in, taking those arms as far overhead as we're comfortable doing so. And we'll exhale, bringing the arms down by our sides. Big breath in, arms come up. We could clasp the palms, reach into the ceiling, and then drop those blades to the floor to anchor ourselves down. I'll step back a little bit so my hands don't get cut off. And let's go ahead and take some side stretches. Inhale up tall and exhale to the other side. We'll stay here for a few repetitions. And if your arms aren't really ready to be quite so far overhead, you are welcome to have your arms crossed over your chest. And take a tall side bend, thinking of lifting your rib cage up and over your pelvis with every side bend. Let's go ahead and take them up to the ceiling. We'll take those arms down by our sides and just roll those shoulders back comfortably. A couple more times, maybe letting the elbows go along for the ride. And we'll let those arms hang by our sides, settle back down to our feet. And let's go ahead and look over our shoulders. We'll look over one side, take it to the center, and look over the other side and take it to the center. We're just testing the water with these first few, seeing what our range is when we start. And then maybe this time we add a little overpressure. Maybe we take our hand and give it a gentle stretch a little farther to get it to the side of the other side of your neck. Go ahead and look. Maybe adding that overpressure. As always, move through a range with the amount of overpressure that you are comfortable with, even if it means you just move your head and your arms go and remain at your sides. We'll look back to the center, and now we'll tip an ear to a shoulder. Again, feeling that length from the ear all the way down to the top of the other shoulder. Take it up tall, and we'll tip the other ear to the other shoulder. And take it up tall. Try to focus on getting that stretch through the opposite side, the side you're moving away from. If you are feeling a pinch on the side you're moving toward, you are welcome to turn your head a bit, looking down towards your armpit. Maybe adding some overpressure with your hands. We'll tip to the other side, maybe adding that little pull, maybe looking down toward that armpit. And we'll come up. One more time to each, ear to shoulder. Anchor it there, looking down, and one more time the other direction. Side bend, anchor your head, rotate. As you rotate, you might notice the stretch goes to the back of the shoulder blade a little bit more. And we'll take ourselves right back up to the top, couple more shoulder circles. We'll anchor those shoulders back down, and let's look up to the ceiling. And down to the floor. We're going to try to maintain a little bit of a nod in that chin so that chin stays tucked gently back towards your neck for a little bit of support to that area of your spine. Again, take it through a range that feels good, a range that feels like it's helping you increase your mobility here. Last time we'll look up and we'll look down. And let's take it right back to the middle. We're going to narrow up our stance and move into our asterisk stretch. We're going to take a foot forward to the front of your mat, little staggered stance, arms come down to a low V. We'll pull back to our standing position. We'll step forward again, move those arms out on a T. Take them back to the center. We'll move forward, step forward and come into a V or a Y shape and come back to our lunge. Let's switch arms. We'll go through low V and center. T and center and Y or high V. and back to the center. You're also welcome to do these motions without moving your legs if you're not feeling like adding that portion of it. So we just move the arms in that asterisk or star shape. We'll do one more set, leading with each leg. Take it up and down. And the last side, low V, center, out to the T, center, and up to the top, and back to the center. Let's go ahead and step back to the middle of our mat again. And we're gonna bend our knees just a little bit, maybe sticking the bottom back a little by pressing those hips back toward the wall behind us. My back is staying nice and flat still. I'm just tipping back slightly with my lower legs staying in the same position as well. So I'm a little bit forward bent here. My hands are gonna go to my legs for a little bit of support. And we're gonna stretch out our shoulders, get a little bit of rotation going. We're gonna place the hands into the fingertips face in toward each other. We're gonna rotate. We'll send one shoulder down toward the floor. The opposite one comes back behind you. Maybe we look over that shoulder. We'll take it back to the center. Same thing on the other side. And take it back to the center. You're also welcome to sit in your folding chair or on your sofa if it feels better to not be in a squatted, unsupported position. It's completely up to you again. One more stretch to each side, shoulder down, looking over the opposite. Back to the middle. And let's drop that second side. Take it back to the middle. We'll come up nice and tall again for a few snow angel stretches with our arms before moving on. Knees stay soft, palms face forward. We're going to take those arms, stretch them back toward the wall behind you. Bring them up till you feel a stretch through the middle of your chest. Take them up as high as you're comfortable taking them. And then keeping the backs of the arms pressed toward the wall behind you, we'll bring those hands back down by our sides. Keep that pattern going. We're going to do 3 or 4 more. As you come through that T shape, you will feel a stretch across the front of the body. If you're not feeling much, take those hands back a little farther. Take it back down. Let's do 2 more here. You're welcome to bend your elbows and feel how that changes the stretch just slightly. And as always, if you feel any pain or tension in the tops of your shoulders, back off on your range or take those arms a little bit more in front of your body versus reaching them back toward the wall. Last one, we'll take them down. We'll shake those shoulders out a little bit. And then we're gonna pull an arm across the body at shoulder height. We'll hang on right at that elbow, straight elbow on the side you're stretching. Let's bring that arm across until we feel a gentle pull over the back of that shoulder. We'll drop that blade toward the floor. Big breath in, big breath out, switch them up. Opposite arm comes up, we pull it across, getting a little bit of leverage at that elbow. Drop that shoulder blade to the mat, take a big breath in. And let's lower that arm and switch. Cross it over, feel the stretch, big breath in. Drop that blade. And we'll switch it up again. Let's pull that arm across. Inhale. Exhale. And lower it down. We're going to bring one arm to shoulder height. We'll bring that hand, bend your elbow, bring that hand up to your shoulder. And bringing that arm up as high as we feel comfortable bringing it. Again, keeping in mind how your shoulder feels. We're going to go for that triceps opening stretch. We'll hold here. You are also welcome to take a side bend and back up, oscillating side to side a little bit to get into that long side of your trunk. As we go, that shoulder that we're stretching or that triceps that we're stretching, we're going to drop that shoulder blade down to the floor to keep that arm protected. Let's take it up one more time. And we'll go ahead and bring the arms down. Opposite arm comes up to shoulder height. We bend that elbow, bringing your hand towards your shoulder. Let's take that arm up to the height you need to get a little tricep stretch. We hold it here, dropping that shoulder blade, and then maybe we oscillate, taking the side bend. Keep that going. Reach it up. And we'll do 2 more side bends. Last one. Let's come up nice and tall. We'll bring those arms down by the sides, rolling the shoulders out again. And we'll move on to our forearms. We'll take one elbow up, shoulder height. We're going to keep the palm facing the floor to start. And we're going to bring those fingertips down toward the floor as well. If you want, you could even curl your fingers under a little bit to bring that pulling sensation over the wrist. And we're going to give a little gentle pressure just below the wrist, keeping that elbow nice and straight. And we'll rock that forearm side to side. Maybe pausing at the point where we feel the most effective stretch, what feels the best on that forearm. And we'll move on. We'll switch the arms, opposite elbow to shoulder height, dropping those fingertips down, maybe curling the fingers under as we give a little overpressure. And we'll take a couple breaths here, wiggling those fingers side to side. Pause, take a big breath. Exhale, bring them down, switching arms now. We're going to keep that, start with that palm facing the floor, then we'll flip it so your palm faces your screen. We'll hang on to that palm now, pulling back till we feel a little stretch under the forearm. If you're not feeling much here, you're welcome to rotate those fingertips toward the floor, keeping that palm facing your screen and giving yourself a little pull, maybe a little bit below shoulder height for better leverage to get into the top of that forearm. Again, we could rock that hand in and out a little bit, finding that stretch position, which you might feel even above your elbow a little bit. We'll go ahead and let go, switch them up, flip the palm so it faces your screen, hang on to that palm, hold it there. If you're not feeling a gentle stretch, we flip those fingertips so they face the floor. That palm still stretches toward the screen, and we'll wiggle it back and forth a little bit, side to side. Let's take one more breath here. And we'll go ahead and drop those arms. We'll rotate those shoulders back, maybe moving those arms a little bit with them. And we're going to move on to the hands and knees portion of our stretches. So if you want to double your mat up to give your knees a little bit more padding, or grab a sofa cushion or a small towel, now would be a good time. We're going to bring our feet shoulder width apart. We'll go through that same hip hinge motion that we did when we were stretching our shoulders forward at the beginning of class. We're going to take our hands to the hips. We'll hinge ourselves forward a little bit till we feel that little stretch behind those thighs. If your little stretch is here, that's fine. If your little stretch is a flat back, that's okay too. We're just going to hang here for one breath in, one breath out. We're going to draw the belly toward the spine and give our back a little support as we bend forward. Maybe we bend those knees. We'll take our time getting down to the floor. Organize that padding up under your knees if you need it. And we're going to move through a couple of cats and cows. Curling, looking toward that belly button, gently arching, sending the breastbone toward the wall in front of you. Let's move through just a couple of these. Get those vertebrae moving. Coming back to the middle, we'll move on to our tail wag. We're going to look towards your screen, tip that shoulder towards your hip, maybe crossing that opposite foot over, and giving a little pull with your hand if that feels like a good stretch. Inhale. Exhale, switch to the other side. We'll look away from your screen toward that opposite hip. Maybe crossing that foot over, maybe hanging onto it and giving it a little pull. If you are holding, you're going to feel that stretch right between your rib cage and your pelvis on the side you're moving away from. One more time, wagging the tail, which could simply look like a little rock side to side. Big breath in, release the foot. Last time. Grab that opposite foot, looking away from your screen. We'll take it back down, and we'll thread the needle. The arm closest to your screen is going to come out to the side. If you have more room, we'll rotate the breastbone toward your monitor, and we'll reach through, thread the needle toward the opposite wall, potentially taking that shoulder down to the floor. Breathe in, reach it up and out. Exhale, thread it through. You take it through the range that's working for you. Keeping in mind that as you do a few more, you might feel like you are gaining mobility. That would be the goal, would be to get a little bit more motion with every repetition of this. We'll come back up to our hands and knees and switch it up. Opposite arm comes out. We follow it up if we have more room. We thread it through toward that screen, maybe dropping the shoulder. Inhale up and out. Exhale, reach it through. Let's go for two more here. Inhale up and out. Reach it through. Two more as a suggestion. If you need to move a little more quickly or a little slower than I am, you're absolutely welcome to do that. This is your class and your stretch. I'm just doing my best to guide you through it safely. We'll come back to hands and knees. Rock through a couple more cats and cows. And when we come back to that neutral position, we'll bring our feet together, knees apart. And we'll lower that bottom down toward a child's pose. Again, find a range that's working for you. If your knees allow you to go all the way back, bringing that bottom toward your heels, feel free. Hands press into the floor. Maybe we get the forearms down. Big breath in. Big breath out. One more time, big breath in. On that exhale, we're gonna walk our hands towards your screen, taking a big breath in. Breathing out, we'll walk our hands the opposite direction. Inhale here. Exhale, we're gonna walk back to the middle. And we're gonna go ahead and turn onto our side. All right. From here, we're gonna move through our open book stretches first. We're gonna move through a little bit of stretches to rotate that upper back if you haven't been with me here before. We'll rest that head on your bottom arm with the elbows straight or bent. Knees are bent about 90 degrees here, and the heels are more or less lined up with your bottom. We're gonna take that top arm forward. We're gonna reach toward your screen. And we're just gonna lead that shoulder blade forward and back a little bit, reaching your hand and then drawing back with the blade. We could stay here. If you wanna move to a bigger amount of thoracic rotation, mid-back rotation, we're gonna take that arm up to the ceiling, breathing in. Exhaling, we'll drop that shoulder blade to the floor, allowing that arm to come back toward the wall behind you, potentially back to the floor. We'll inhale to the ceiling, exhale that arm forward. Let's move through for a couple more on each side. Inhale up, exhale over. You will feel this stretch through the top of your pec muscle. So right at the top of the left side of your chest, reaching toward the front of that shoulder. You may feel, depending on the range that you're moving through, a stretch in your lower back. You need to decide for yourself how much of that stretch feels good for you and what range you want to take yourself through. Inhale to the top, we'll exhale that arm forward. Now what we're gonna do from here, we're gonna move on to some quad stretching, front of the thigh. We're gonna keep that bottom knee up at 90 degrees. Grab your leg. If you can't reach the ankle itself with knee bending, you're welcome to grab onto the bottom of your pant leg, whatever you're wearing. The outside of your shoe if you have shoes on, or you're welcome to go grab a strap or a towel to hold on behind that leg. So from here, we're gonna keep that knee bent to the chest to start. We'll find our anchor point and hold on to it. And we're gonna bring that top leg back with the ultimate goal, if you have more mobility than I do, of getting that thigh completely lined up with your trunk. We're gonna hold at that first stretch point, wherever you first start to feel that pull between your hip and your kneecap. From here, squeeze your bottom. That'll drive that knee back a little bit, and then we'll let go of that glute. Squeeze, press back with your bottom. Release the glute, keeping a hold of your ankle. We're gonna press back a few more times. We're focusing on an active stretch here. Maybe we take that bottom foot and reach it forward with a straight knee. Moving toward a hurdler stretch. Good. Let's press it back one more time. And we'll come back. We'll bend in that knee, bring your opposite leg on top of it, and we're gonna move on to our other side. So we'll come up through center, lie down on that opposite arm, cradle your head between your upper arm and your elbow. Knees are bent to 90 degrees straight forward, heels are lined up with your bottom, and we'll move through our open book on this side. So we'll take that top arm forward, and we're gonna stretch your fingertips toward your screen, and then draw that shoulder blade back. Reach it forward, draw it back. We can keep it here and move on to the bigger motion, reaching forward, taking that arm up to the ceiling, leading with the shoulder blade. We're dropping that opposite arm back behind us, finding the range that feels good till we feel that stretch through the pec, maybe a little stretch through the lower back. Inhale up to the ceiling, exhale forward. Let's move through 3 more. Whatever range is working for you. Take it forward. Last 2. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale forward. Last 1. Inhale that arm up. Exhale that blade back. Inhale that arm up. Exhale, take it forward. We'll move on to our thigh stretch. You're welcome to join. If you need another open book, you're welcome to go for that too. We're gonna hang on to that top ankle or strap or pant leg or heel, whatever works for you. And with that bottom knee anchored up at 90 degrees, we're gonna pull through that top glute, bringing that top leg back toward a position where it's lined up with your body. Inhale, squeeze that glute as we press. Inhale, release the bottom. Exhale, press it back. Maybe we take that bottom leg and stretch it forward. Release the glute. 2 more squeezes here. Press, release, and press, and release. We'll go ahead and bend that bottom knee in. Let's make our way onto our backs. From here, settle in. Maybe we nod the chin a few times toward the neck. And we're going to straighten out the leg that's closest to the screen there, pulling the other knee into your chest. Find a comfortable range there. And we're going to wiggle that bent knee toward your screen. Pulling into that opposite glute a little bit, the bottom on the side that you're bending. We'll get a little bit of a gentle pull. We're going to bring that leg back to the middle. Hang on behind your thigh. And we'll stretch up, finding the barrier where you first feel a little stretch in your hamstrings. We could flex and point, circle that ankle, or we could wiggle through that knee a little bit if that feels like a better way to ease into your stretch. We'll hold it here for another breath. We'll bend up that leg closest to your screen, take that opposite ankle and place it on top of your knee. Hold it there. Maybe we press out to the side here a little bit. Maybe we oscillate toward the screen in a way a little bit. Maybe we pull that knee into your chest. Up to you. Find a position that gets you a little stretch through those hip openers. You don't want to feel a lot of pinching through the hip. You don't want to feel pain in your groin. If you feel any of that, take that foot back down to the mat and bring that knee a little closer to your body. We'll rock it side to side one more time. And then we're going to hold on to that knee closest to the screen now. Straighten out the far leg. And keeping that knee close to your chest, we'll rock that bent knee across the body, getting into that glute a little bit. Take it side to side. We're getting your glute. We're also getting some of those deeper muscles that rotate and stabilize your hip. Let's pull it back to the center. We'll switch our grip, holding on behind that thigh. And we'll take that leg up to the ceiling. Maybe flexing and pointing, finding that barrier. If it feels good to work through it a little bit, go for it. You want to feel the main crux of this one between your knee and your sit bone. From here, we'll go ahead and bend that back far leg. Cross your near ankle to that knee. Gently pushing that thigh out to the side. Let's hold it there. We can take ourselves side to side a bit. If you want to take it further, we can pull that far knee into your chest. Again, taking our body side to side. We'll hold it here for another breath. We'll pull back to the center. Let's unwind those legs, pulling those knees into the chest. We'll take our feet back to the floor and arms by our sides. Feet together and knees together. We're going to just rock those knees side to side. We'll take them toward the screen and away. Try to keep your shoulder blades on the floor here. We're just giving our spine a little bit of gentle rotation. We're encouraging some healthy movement to those deep muscles that run right along your spine and help you rotate while keeping your body supported. We'll take it one more time to each side. Let's take it back to the middle. Now we're going to turn toward our screen to make our way back up to hands and knees. We'll do a few more cats and cows here before standing ourselves up. We'll take ourselves back to the middle. Wag that tail side to side gently. Take it back to the middle. We're going to make our way up to standing. So we'll turn those toes under a bit. We can pop right up to standing, or you're welcome to take yourself through a down dog if you'd like. If we're here, we're lining up our elbows with our ears, dropping those heels to the mat and pedaling through our feet a little. So one heel drops down as the other lifts up. And go ahead and switch those up. The goal here would be to keep your back as neutral as possible. So we're avoiding a lot of curling. We're also avoiding a lot of collapse down through that rib area. Let's pedal those feet out one more time. We'll drop those heels down. Big breath in. On the exhale, if we've been back here, we'll meet our friends who are already standing, walking our feet toward our hands, drawing that belly up as we come up to standing. We're just going to stand here for a minute, ease back into that position, make sure no one feels lightheaded or anything, and we're going to move on. We're going to end class today. We will go through a little bit of our runner's lunge sequence that we've been doing before. We're also going to go through a few more dynamic stretches, some quicker stretches to get you moving if you're about to go out and take a walk, or if you just need a little bit more movement, maybe getting your heart rate up a little tiny bit before you go move on with your day. So if you do need a little balance assist, you are welcome to have your chair a little bit closer to you. We can also modify some of these sitting positions if we need them. We're going to start getting into the sides of the hips. We'll take a hand to the chair if you need it, and we're going to march. We'll bring one knee into your chest and take it back down and switch. We can hold, or we can let go of that balance chair as we pull our knees in. You're welcome to add a lift up onto your toes. This is a good way to do it if you have limited space. You could also do this one down your hallway. Let's go ahead and take our feet apart again. We're going to get into the backs of the legs now for our hamstrings. We'll take the hands to the hips. We'll take one foot forward with that knee straight. We're going to stick the bottom back, hinge it forward, and step. Hinge it forward, reverse, opposite side, forward, and up. We'll keep this going for a few more repetitions. Watching from the side, that bottom should be back. So your supporting knee is not bent a whole lot, and that back is staying nice and still. As we move forward, we should feel this between the knee and the hip on the side that we're moving. We'll come up tall. Let's go ahead and move on to our hip opener. So we're going to hold on to the chair if we need it. We're going to pull one knee slightly across the body and take it back down. And we'll do the same thing with the other one. If you need support with both sides, feel free to face your chair and switch the hand that you're using for support. We'll do one more pull on each side. Moving on to rotating the other direction. So this time we'll kick a leg up, touch the inside of your ankle. Again, using your means of support to keep you upright if you need a little balance assist. One more time to each side. We'll move on to our quads. We're going to work through some bottom kickers here. Again, we could hold on. We'll take our hands back behind the body. See if you can touch the tops of your feet as you move yourself back and forth. And that goal here is to keep your back as still as you can while you go. If you end up doing some of these along your hallway, you can lift up onto your toes. One more time to each. And again, remember, if your range is limited, it's fine to just lift up a slight bit as long as we keep those thighs in line with your trunk. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to our runner's lunge. We're going to step in front of our mat for this. We'll keep one foot forward. They're both going to be about hip width apart. We're going to step one foot back behind your mat if you can. We're going to sink into our lunge, maybe holding on for a little balance. We'll take that arm on the straight leg side up. We'll take a side bend. Take that hand over. Take it up to the ceiling. Reach our hands down. Maybe they come to the thigh. Maybe they come all the way to the floor. We'll keep that hand on the straight leg side on the ground as we open up and rotate to the ceiling. Arm comes down. We step forward and we come up nice and tall. Let's switch it up and go for our other side. Step that second leg back. Straight set leg side comes up with that upper body. Rotate, side bend. Arm comes up. Take those hands down to your thigh or to the floor. Open it up, feeling that stretch through that front top side of the body. Take it down, feet together, come up nice and tall. Go ahead and move through on at your own pace. You are welcome to do part of the sitting. We sit at the edge of your chair. Take one leg back, arm comes up, take a side bend. Take it up, arms come down. We could do most of this seated. All right, we're gonna move on to our last side. We'll step that second leg back. Arm comes up, take a side bend. Arm comes up, hands to the floor. Rotate through. Hands come down. Let's bring our feet together and we'll come up nice and tall. You should feel like you got a little bit of a workout through those glutes, just the beginning of one. All right, we're gonna take those feet shoulder width apart. Let's roll those shoulders back and down a couple more times. Letting the elbows go long for the ride. We'll soften up the knees, maybe widening our stance a bit. Hands to the hips. We're gonna stick that bottom back. Again, taking our hands to our thighs. We'll go ahead and rotate the shoulder forward again like we did at the beginning of class. Roll it back to the middle. Switch it up. Take it back to the middle. We'll come up nice and tall. With those feet wide, take those arms up. Let's clasp the palms, reach them all the way to the ceiling as we drop our shoulder blades down. Take a tall side bend to one. Lift it up. And take a tall side bend to the other. Lift them up. Arms come down, feet together. One more big breath in, and we take our palms to the ceiling. Bring them forward to the center of the body. Thank you so much for waking up and stretching with me. As always, comments, concerns, feedback, suggestions are welcome. Rachel, R-A-C-H-E-L, @agilept.com. And one more announcement for those of you who generally take my 8 a.m. Pilates class tomorrow. Unfortunately, I am not able to offer a live class tomorrow, but I will be sending an email to those of you who are either registered already or who have attended class before, letting you know the YouTube link. We have an Agile YouTube channel going now, and I do have a Pilates playlist with pre-recorded exercises. So if that's something you're interested in, please check out the pre-recorded classes. There will be some from Mondays and Tuesdays, as well as some of our prior Friday classes. Check them out. Maybe there'll be something different than what we've done in prior classes you've attended. And as always, have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you all on the mat again soon. Thanks so much.